Hey everyone, an email was passed to me by a source I cannot and will not name that points to a bleak revenue picture for the popular North Face retail chain, at least from the perspective of the problems in sales at one of its major outlets, this one in Beverly Hills. The email that I received reads as follows, and I'm just going to read to you the salient points rather than the whole thing. It comes from one of the managers of that store, the North Face in Beverly Hills, and it reads as follows. I just wanted to send an email out and discuss the recent cuts in hours to the schedule. Now, the backstory here is that, and I'm not reading, I'm explaining right now, that workers found out within just 36 hours that their hours to work at the store they had scheduled were going to be cut back. And they're up in arms, completely up in arms, because many have little mouths to feed and they're wondering, scrambling around, trying to figure out where their next opportunity to make money to feed their kids is going to come from. The rest of the email I read right now. The process we have for doing the schedule is this. At the start of the month, we post up the requests for you to fill out, usually do 2 weeks before the end of the month. We then start doing the schedule based off last year's payroll. Once the schedule for the month is complete, we send it to David, our DM, which I presume means district manager. It's not until after or in the middle of week 1 of the schedule we already made that we actually get our payroll. Usually this is just a few tweaks here and there, and we take those hours from the last few weeks, and you, the associate, never noticed the change. This month, however, our payroll was cut by $2,000 from last year. So cuts have been more drastic than at previous times. We want to thank you for your understanding at this time. As for the amount of cuts, the store/company, note that, has been trending down in volume. This means that we have not been bringing in the dollars we did last year or making the plan that has been set forth. This is across the board and not just our store alone. So, as every company does, they need to cut back on such things as payroll. Now, this isn't the end of things. Every trail has its valleys and its summits. Let's continue to do what we do best on the sales floor and get the ball rolling on a successful 2015. Once we start to surpass our plan numbers, we will start to trend higher and we can add additional hours. Please think of this while you're on the sales floor when assisting our customers. Every little bit helps us get closer to our goal. Each one of your sales and each item you add brings us closer to our goal. Thank you for all you do. And that's the email. But the problem is that the workers have no collective bargaining system, no way to fight against these cutbacks in their hours. You have workers who have kids to feed. They plan their ability to do so based on their opportunity to work the hours that they had scheduled and planned out. To have this happen with just 36 hours notice, incredible. But the other story here is the continued decline in retail sales revenue from the North Face retail establishments, as reported by this email from the Beverly Hills store. And note, the email from the managers state that it's not just that store, it's the company as a whole. And last year, February 27, 2014, VF Companies, VFC, which means Vanity Fair Mills, was downgraded by one company, I believe Goldman Sachs, yes, Goldman Sachs, in its from a high buy to a neutral buy. The retail sales problem first reared its head in the news as far back as 2011. So this has been an ongoing problem, but the email indicates the problem is more acute in this year, 2015, than it has been before. Why? Well, the obvious culprit would have to be online sales, and one would ask, well, can't VF Company, or at least, the North Face in this instance, move some of its online sales revenue to help its workers, to keep them going, to keep those stores going? It's a question. But the bottom line is that North Face has a retail problem. And the other question is, considering the multiple number of years this problem has gone on, is the North Face headed to a point where they're going to have to close stores or consider bankruptcy? Because it has been noted in other news items on VF Corporation with respect to the North Face. The North Face is essentially a drag on VF, occasionally leading to a fall in its stock price, in addition to, but not problems in its revenue overall. Overall, VF Company revenue has been strong because it's a conglomerate of different corporations, but it's quite obvious that the North Face is becoming a bit of a drag.